Hey guys, it's Chris. From eggs with no shells to shells shaped like corkscrews, here are 10 of the planet's weirdest animal eggs. Number 10. Giant water bug eggs. The giant water bug is one of the insect world's most successful predators, with a reported 150 species found all over the world. The bug's tough attitude even extends to their eggs, which are looked after by the males of the species. A guy bug can guard the precious eggs, or it can do things another way. And this way is pretty weird, let me tell you. Studies show that the female uses natural glue to attach the eggs to her partner's back, and the males have got to be super careful, as another female might come along and eat the eggs. Why do they do that? Because water bugs are very competitive, and by destroying babies, the female can then bag the man bug as a mate. Grown-up water bugs are capable of taking down the likes of snakes. They're high achievers, but it all starts during childhood. Water bug nymphs can grab onto larger prey with their curved front legs. In some cases, bigger creatures are all that's available to eat anyways, so they've got to go large. Once the prey is in its clutches, the water bug stabs it with a proboscis. It acts like a freaky drinking straw, releasing chemicals that turn the unlikely passerby into soup, which can then be sucked up. Ugh, talk about a liquid lunch. Number 9. Jawfish eggs. These crazy creatures are called jawfish for a reason, and that reason involves their eggs. How so? Well, like with water bugs, responsibility falls on the menfolk to protect the eggs. And what better way to keep your little babies from harm than by sticking them in your mouth? Yes, that's exactly what the yellow-headed version of the jawfish does. Because of this, they're classified as mouth breeders. Spectacular snaps of the process were captured off the Cayman Islands by a diver in 2013. It's one of those things that has to be seen to be believed, and the photographer sure did get an eyeful that day. Waiting on the ocean floor, the visitor witnessed a jawfish emerging from its burrow and opening its mouth. The eggy evidence was tucked inside, and as you can see, he's really got them crammed in there. Every so often, the male kinda spits the eggs out so they can be aerated. This cleans them and gives the little fish some hydration. But spare a thought for daddy too, he can't eat with a bunch of youngins in his gullet. So by the time they're born, he's hungrier than a great white shark. Number 8. Ladybug eggs. The ladybug beetle is one of the prettiest sights in nature, but did you know it takes a while for it to become so colorful and cool looking? Everything starts, of course, with the eggs. A female ladybug is able to lay over 1,000 eggs a month. As for location, well, a plant leaf makes a great place for a bug to leave her future babies. Once the eggs hatch, they're gonna need something to chow down on. Enter the aphid. This poor little insect is left for the young ladybugs to feast on. We hope it died before that happens. Another gruesome detail is that if no aphids are around, then infertile eggs make a tasty replacement. Cannibalicious, huh? Or rather, kind of yuck. After hatching, which is called the embryonic stage, the ladybug goes through the larval stage where it looks more like a caterpillar with legs. The pupal stage sees it take a shape as the ladybug we know and love. Finally, the imaginal stage happens, and we see that beautiful shell, which makes the ladybug so special. Number 7. Octopus eggs. When an octopus lays its eggs, it's one of the wonders of the natural world. These 8-legged creatures are beautiful and mysterious. The actual business of hatching the eggs, however, is really quite scary. The mother goes to extremes in order to nurture her young. Unfortunately, she doesn't look after herself in the process. What are we talking about? Keep watching, though this makes for uncomfortable viewing. You see, octopuses are semmalparous. In other words, they can only reproduce once they die. This affects both males and females, though in very different ways. The female is the one giving birth, so let's focus on her. The female octopus will sit on her eggs, where she gives them a loving stroke with her tentacle and also blows water across the nest. All seems well, but there's a sucker punch coming. A few days after this, the mother displays suicidal behavior, and we don't really know why, but she beats herself up and starves herself to death. The babies don't get to see their mom as it's all over for her by the time they hatch. It's freaky, right? In fact, scientists have been upset by the sight of captive octopuses hitting their heads on the side of tanks following egg production. Could this be because they're cannibals and the species is trying to stop itself from dining on its own kind? The octopus is supposed to be very intelligent, so it's a distinct possibility, but it's a weird one though. Number 6. Praying mantis eggs. The praying mantis is a famous predator, so as you can imagine, its eggs are pretty darn tough. They actually have 2 shells, by which we mean there's the egg shell and then another layer of protection provided by something called the ootheca. What's the ootheca? Well, here's where things get a little bit icky. When the mother mantis finds a convenient twig or similar place to drop her eggs, they're going to be sitting there during the cold winter. What to do? Well, create a little house around them, thinks the insect. It does this by using abdominal glands to effectively spit all over the eggs. The slimy covering then solidifies. The texture has been compared to polystyrene and acts as a great insulator. There can be hundreds of eggs, so some of these oothecae are quite large and noticeable to people like gardeners. Not that they mind. Mantis egg casings are in demand, with green-fingered types wanting to put them in their green spaces, so the mantis will hatch and take care of any pests about the place. It's a strange thing to do for sure, but then often nature produces the best solution to such problems. Number 5. Seahorse eggs. Seahorses are among the most interesting and unique animals of the world's waters. Part of that is down to the way they look, and a lot of that uniqueness comes from the way they give birth to their young. A baby seahorse is referred to as a fry, and in this community, it's the men who give birth. Well, the woman is involved too, but the guy takes responsibility for the eggs. How so? After a lengthy mating ritual, which involves a lot of dancing, the female hands over the eggs to her partner. The lucky seahorse then keeps the young in a front pouch. And it's gotta be a big pouch, as up to 2,000 of these little ones can reportedly be nurtured in there. The unusual pregnancy lasts from about 10 days to nearly a month, before contractions start and the babies are released into the ocean. While the male seahorse ensures the eggs have everything they need in the pouch, it's a different story once the birth happens. Apparently, they leave the fry alone to go and do their own thing. And that's not great news for a young seahorse. It's said that under 5 in 1,000 babies survive into adulthood as a result. Number 4. Snail eggs. Snail biology is a tricky subject to talk about. It's fascinating stuff, but because some snails are both male and female, like they're hermaphrodites, it'd take a whole video in itself to mention how everything works with our shell-based friends. However, we're here to talk about the eggs, so we'll give you the lowdown on that for sure. When snails mate, it's a slow process. And no, we're not making a joke. The courtship of 2 snails can last as long as 12 hours before they get jiggy with it. Well, whatever the really slow version of getting jiggy is at any rate. This sounds really quite violent. The 2 lovebirds, or rather snails, use pointed deadlies called love darts to spear and hold each other in position. Ouch. Now, that's a little 50 Shades of Grey, or I guess 50 Shades of Slime in this case. Once they've done the deed, the eggs are laid. Snail eggs are buried in topsoil and left for anything up to a month. When the babies hatch, they have been known to eat their eggs for the calcium content. Unfortunately, they may also chow down on an egg that hasn't hatched yet. So even though they're slow creatures, you've got to be quick as a youngster if you want to survive. Number 3. Snake eggs. With so many snakes in the world, there are various kinds of snake eggs. Some have a leathery shell that both keeps liquid in and also lets stuff like gas pass through it. Other types don't even have shells and stay in the snake's body where the baby snake forms. Though a lot of us find them freaky, snakes are rather communal creatures, at least with their own. Snakes from the same species are placed together. The mother seeks out a place that is warm and damp to deposit her eggs. A dark spot can also be good away from prying eyes. The mommy snake then either incubates the eggs, guards them from a distance, or slithers off to do something else. That last one sounds tough on the snakes, but don't worry about them, they're alright. Snakes are born with something called an egg tooth on their mouth. It's basically like a little can opener, and they use it to break out of the shell or whatever they're encased in. Then all they've got to do is wait for those fearsome fangs to grow. Kinda gives you shivers, right? Number 2. Spiral horn shark eggs. Check this out. Looks like something you'd find on the floor of a woodwork class, doesn't it? It's actually an egg. Believe it or not, this is the casing from a spiral horn, which is a species of shark. This example can be seen on the ocean floor in California. Spring and summer are prime egg popping times for sharks. Typically, around a couple of eggs are produced every 2 weeks or so. The twisty shape of the casing is thought to be because of a corkscrew effect inside the mother, but no one really knows for sure. That shape also enables the egg to snag on things and stay in position through the motion of the ocean. So what's the case made out of? It's been compared to fingernails, so pretty strong and kind of a little icky. The shark swims off, leaving the egg to fend for itself. However, it does contain nutrients for the embryo to eat, not to mention a wild-looking house-type structure to sit in while waiting to hatch. How does it get out of that thing, though? I mean, it is called a horn shark, so we guess it uses its horns. Number 1. Whale shark eggs. Whale sharks are the biggest non-predatory fish in the water. The longest can be up to 40 feet, so if you saw one, you'd certainly know about it. But what's life like for a baby whale shark, and how does the species produce its eggs? Unlike the horn shark with its Art Deco-style egg design, the whale shark does it internally. Eggs stay inside their mom till she's ready to deliver them to a watery fate. And we say fate because, as with many of the entries on this list, babies are flushed out into a dangerous environment. Although approximately 300 youngsters can come out of one whale shark, the chances of survival for most of these are low. It's the weirdest thing of all how nature can produce so much life and then take it away so quickly. The whale shark may have a straightforward way of doing things, but its eggs demonstrate the bizarre cruelty as well as the beauty of Mother Nature under the sea. Thanks for watching. Are there any weird animal eggs you think we left off this list? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.